Devika Chopra, and our top focus is ISRO. ISRO has achieved yet another major feat today. It has successfully launched a second-generation navigation satellite into space. Why is this important? The navigation satellite was built in India. It is our nation's own navigation system to provide accurate and real-time navigation. For decades, viewers, we've been dependent on navigation systems that have been developed by other nations, primarily the United States of America. If I say global positioning system, you may not understand, because what we do understand is GPS. The GPS, also known as the global positioning system, is owned by the US government and it is operated by the US Space Force. Today, we can't exit our homes without using a map service. So guess who is providing all this real-time information for that map? It is the United States of America. Both general users, that means you and I, as well as the armed forces, have had to rely on navigation systems developed and controlled by other nations. There are 4 core satellite navigation systems currently, which includes GPS, that is of the United States, GLONASS of the Russian Federation, Beidou of China, and Galileo of the European Union. While for the common man this doesn't seem to impose an immediate threat, it surely is not ideal for the armed forces. The country that develops the system can also have access to your data. So when India launches its own homegrown navigation system, we must understand why this matters. India's navigation system, with Indian constellation, more popularly known as Navic, is a regional satellite system developed by ISRO. It consists of 7 satellites in orbit that work in conjunction with ground stations. The network offers navigation services not just to you and me, but also to our strategic users, our army. The Navic network provides coverage over a vast area encompassing India and extending up to 1,500 kilometers beyond the Indian boundary. With its own navigation system, India once again becomes a part of an elite group of nations. We are one of 5 nations to have developed its own navigation system. Why is this achievement so significant? We take this conversation forward with our guests. We have with us Group Captain B.N. Jha. I also have with me Group Captain U.K. Devnath. I also have with me Wing Commander Sudhakaran. And we have with us Arjun Naik, founder and CEO of Scandron. Let me begin this conversation with Arjun. Arjun, if you can just explain to our viewers the significance of what India has achieved today, the fact that we will soon have open to public our own regional navigation system. How does this change our lives?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. For India, having its own indigenously developed navigation system is a major milestone. Congratulations to Team ISRO and the Government of India. It's a major milestone because we finally start letting go of our dependency on foreign technology. Even though GPS systems are the most commonly used system worldwide, there is a built-in error into it. And as happened during Kargil, we have seen foreign entities denying the Indian Armed Forces GPS coverage during critical times. So for us to have our own indigenously developed and controlled navigation system means that India is finally not dependent on other countries for our own navigation needs. Over time, this will also reduce costs significantly and make navigation technology easier and accessible to the common man.
Absolutely. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, let me bring you into the conversation, sir. Like I said, perhaps to the common man, it's not really an immediate threat, but when we talk about our armed forces, when we talk about the military, the Navy, even the Air Force, all combined, it was crucial for India to develop its own navigation system. We're a step closer, of course, towards this facility now becoming more and more detailed. But if you can just explain to our viewers, sir, why was this so important?
It is not, you can say that it is militarily very important, but what we are missing the point is, it's more important from the civilian point of view. And why I am saying that is because your sovereignty and integrity is at threat. See, today when you're talking about the nuclear deterrence, it primarily comes from the missile platform. And missiles draw their navigation as well as their attack precision primarily from the GPS, because right from their GPS clock syncing, because coming from the missile background myself, I've written numerous papers on how our systems are vulnerable, being dependent on systems that are US based or Europe based or Russian based. In peacetime, they will give you what they had promised. But in wartime, even a McDonald's and a KFC packs up. That's what we have seen in the Ukraine warfare. So when you get into the technical nitty-gritty of this, if the GPS clock sync is off by 1 millisecond, the target could be off by multiple kilometers. In fact, I would tell you one incident, and it is very important for you people to relate to it. We have not done enough research on it. There was an operation carried by Israel on Syria. It was called as Operation Orchard. The Syrian fighter aircrafts were able to successfully evade these, the Israeli fighter aircrafts were successfully able to evade the Syrian air defense system, and it was completely blacked out. Whereas the Syrian air defense was state of the art. Now, how could a fighter aircraft evade a radar? One of the possibilities that when I sat and I was working on understanding how this could have happened, just possibly to reverse engineer a possibility for our own while I was serving, I realized that putting the clock sync off is one good technique, because the pulses that would come will always miss. And that's how the Syrian radars probably work. I've not gone there and done the study, so I will just give you that caveat. But see, that is the importance of having our own indigenous system. So when rather than delving it on much technically, if I have to just talk about it from the business interest, we will get strategic independence. Having our own GPS ensures strategic independence. When India went to the US systems, they didn't give us the SA, which means the accuracy.
Yes.
Accuracy level with the GPS could be used. But the US military uses what is called as a PPS accuracy of GPS, and that it doesn't give to anybody, and it is only unique to military. We were using a commercial grade of GPS for our military ecosystem. Today, for the first time, when we are making an indigenous system, our systems will equally fight well in wartime as they are doing in peacetime. Otherwise, countries will be lulled into believe that the weapon systems are good, but on the day of war, you will realize that it is actually not functioning the way it is supposed to. And which means that if you had made your plans, your tactical operations are based on such weapon systems, you can well imagine what is going to happen on the day of war. So this is what that it becomes. So a domestic GPS enhances national security by improving secure and reliable positioning, navigation and timing capabilities for defense and military operations. I will give you one more example. How were they able to target Zaveri in Pakistan? That was because the US GPS was functional there. Now, if Pakistan wants to do it in an Indian soil or an American soil, it cannot use US soil to use it against them. You need that level of independence to plan any operation, which means that any country in the world, be it US, be it Russia, be it China, they cannot tell us that we will come and attack you, you can't do the same. That is what this particular technology brings onto the table. It reduces the vulnerabilities associated with a dependency on foreign systems, which can be subject to denial or degradation during conflicts. That's precisely what I'm talking about. And as far as it is coming to civilian application, an indigenous GPS system benefits various civilian sectors, including transportation, agriculture, disaster management, surveying, mapping, and telecommunication. It enables precise positioning and timing services for these sectors, promoting technological advancements and socio-economic development. Today, if my startup is going to depend on a foreign-based GPS system, believe you me, I am not going to prosper beyond a certain point. The moment I am going to grow beyond a certain point, they will clip your wings. Either they will buy you outright through some venture capitalists, or they will clip your wing, or they will do systematic targeted degradation of technology,
Absolutely.
which means that you can lose face value in the
And to
market.
the civilian user cases, I'll just come to that in just a moment. But let me bring in Group Captain V and Jai into the conversation. Group Captain Jai, if you could also just shed some light for our viewers on the fact that what ISRO is trying to achieve here, and we've taken another big step in the right direction. How crucial will this be for our military establishment, sir?
Devika, thank you very much for having me here. And thanks NewsX channel for taking up this subject of science, because it is dealing with a lot of things. And what has happened today is nothing new. Today we have only replaced one of the older satellite in the geostationary orbit, which had been there since I think 2016 onwards. So this satellite, when goes and places itself, positions itself, the previous one will be made non-functional, and that will deorbit from there. So it's an ongoing system. The satellite has already been there, and in this Navic system, navigations through the Indian constellation, most, or rather I'll say all these satellites are going to be positioned in the geosynchronous or geostationary orbit above the Earth. Just for easier understanding of your viewers, I'll show you. Suppose if we are talking of India as of now, India is at 29-degree elevation north,
Yes.
latitude of the Earth that it is there. And as the Earth rotates, it rotates, takes a complete rotation in about 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4.09 seconds. Now think of that 4.09 seconds, what Sudhakaran was hinting to you, what it means. You know, this particular satellite has got the newest of the technology, even the atomic clock. That iridium atomic clock is something which will be absolutely precision, and the L1 sort of array that it has got, it will be able to communicate and liaise with many other satellites in the same constellation. So it's a very advanced technology that India or ISRO has used this time, and it is going to strengthen the entire navigation. And as Sudhakaran was trying to prompt you, look, for all normal navigation in our car or when we go for the Google map or something, it's all right to go ahead with the navigation system that America has given to us. But when we are talking of the missiles, we are talking about the fighter aircraft, we are carrying out secret operations or highly confidential operations. There, the moment you acquire the data through the existing satellite communication, you are making yourself vulnerable, exposed. All your informations are in the hands of the provider who is giving you this particular system. So, preferably, India should have, and it has got, this Navic system. It has got some limitations still now to be fully operational, but it has got that capability to be absolutely confidential. Only Indian government will know what it is happening, and when you acquire all those data and work out in that particular area, that is where it will have the edge. And this particular satellite, when it has taken that entire thing to the geostationary. And one more thing I must tell you, the geostationary satellites are something which overlook your particular area territory all the time, 24 hours or 24/7. It keeps on looking at that. It has got about a radius of, a cone of about 20 degrees into which it looks at it there. So looking at from 35,786 kilometers above. From that distance, it will be looking to the ground above India.
Right.
So it makes that 20 degree, and in that entire area is covered. So 24/7, the eyes on the Indian territory and beyond will be with us, and that is how it is going to help India in all its campaigns, civilian as well as the military applications.
All right. Group Captain UK Devnath, when we talk about our own regional navigation systems, another crucial aspect, of course, is the accuracy. When we talk about GPS, we always see, and I'm sure this is what the viewers will also relate to, that if you open up a map or even if you open up WhatsApp to send your location to someone or normal on a Google Maps, it's usually there comes a message that says that this is about 13 to 14 meters accurate, and that's about where it stops. Beyond that, sort of accuracy, as Wing Commander Sudhakaran was pointing out, is something that militaries across the world who have their own navigation systems use for themselves, where it is literally accurate to the very exact location of a person. And this is something that having our own regional system will help us achieve as well. That accuracy of about 1 meter or literally to the point itself is something that we look forward to when we have our own system. But Group Captain UK Devnath, if you can also shed some light on how, keeping aside the US and European Union, sir, or even Russia for that matter, in our neighborhood, China has its own navigation system for many years now. How has that helped China in terms of its, just its geopolitical strategy, or in terms of even its border management?
Oh yes, Devika, China is a little ahead of India in this game. We have started somewhere around 2016. Soon we will catch up with China and maybe we will overtake China. As far as military applications are concerned, two things are very important. One is now we are not dependent upon a GPS system being operated by other countries. It has happened in the past that when we wanted to use other countries' GPS system for our military purpose, they were mischievous, they decreased the accuracy and they misled our military craft. But now with our own GPS system in air, very soon we will have 100% reliable navigation tube being provided to our weapon systems and platforms. Our ships, aircraft and tanks, artillery gun positions will be presently positioned within say plus minus 20 meter in whether it is Indian Ocean or Tibet Plateau. As far as China is concerned, they have been using this extensively because we come to know very easily when their aircraft or their UAVs fly near LAC. We have put our sensors there which can to some extent monitor the dialogue between their UAV and their satellite. Very soon Indian GPS system will be accurate down to plus minus 2 meters. That is the accuracy required for delivering a weapon. Plus minus 20% is okay for flying an aircraft over target or for positioning a UAV or a drone over target area. But in case I have to fire a weapon from my aircraft or from a UAV into enemy target, then definitely accuracy required is plus minus 2 meter. Our scientists are working on it. DRDO and ISRO are almost at advanced stage. Maybe another 4 to 6 years, we will have a precision down to plus minus 2 meters. Yes, Devika?
Absolutely. All right. Bringing back Wing Commander Sudhakaran. Wing Commander Sudhakaran, I just want you to also explain how exactly will having our own regional navigation system help in terms of also securing both our border and our seas?
I would also want to highlight some very important points as far as this. Yes, we can talk about GPS, it is very important, we all know about it. But there are some very important points which we must pay attention to, critical attention to. See, when the Balakot strikes took place, the next day the Pakistanis came with their aircraft and with their F-16s. They were not able to cross the border. That was because America had given the F-16s in a condition to the Pakistanis saying that you will not use the F-16s for offensive airstrikes. Now, how will America monitor such a thing? This is called as geofencing. So GPS is the technology that is used to geofence advanced strategic elements like fighter aircrafts, which means that the moment they cross a certain boundary and the system knows it, the complete avionics system is programmed in such a way that they will have a systematic degradation of its functionality as well as its weapon systems will all be almost put to naught, which means that fighter aircraft is as good as not. Now, these are the kind of technologies which we are talking 20, 30 years back. We have just knocked on that door. You know, I will stick my neck out and tell you the days of fighter aircrafts in the sky is numbered. We are into a swarm drone based, absolutely AI controlled warfare in the skies. Now, for that, GPS becomes one of the most critical elements. Now, if we can talk about the next generation aircraft and all, but while we are attempting to build a 5th generation aircraft, the world is already in the race to build a 7th generation aircraft. And those are based on technologies like this. And therefore, it is very, very important that we actually master these technologies big time. And that is when India can call it as a real superpower. What we are doing is we are just catching up on what we have not done so far. That doesn't actually give us great laurels. Yes, we can pat our back and we can say, okay, we've made a beginning. But when it comes to real warfare, when it comes to the boxing ring, it counts for nothing. We have a long way to catch up, and these are elementary steps. These are foundational elements that we will have to put in place if we need to really become the superpower that we really aspire to. The second thing is that I want to also highlight is when we talk about the precision accuracy, point accuracy, positioning service, which is used by the US. Today we are talking about sub-meter accuracy. You know, when we are talking about a drone-based attack, we are not talking about a big 500-pounder going and being dropped over an enemy location. We just want a needle to penetrate the neck of the target and kill it without any collateral damage. That's the warfare of future we are talking about. Right. And that means mastering precision positioning service, which is very, very critical for most of the next generation advanced military systems. If we don't get that in place in time, we will have to be prepared for another 1,000 years of digital colonialism. And
right,
that's
absolutely. Absolutely. Arjun Naik, let me bring you back into the conversation. I believe your company does focus on drones for a lot of several purposes here. How does this, having your own regional navigation system, once it does become accessible to the general public as well, what floodgates does this open for you?
So drones are almost completely dependent on GPS-based navigation systems, or satellite-based navigation systems. And the Indian Armed Forces are potentially our biggest customer for our logistics drones. So having indigenous navigation system installed on our drones would definitely be a step up for us, because it removes the dependency that we have on foreign navigation systems currently.
But Arjun, I can accept the cost part. Of course, when you have a foreign navigation system, it comes with a cost as well. While the cost will be brought down, what really are the other features that you look forward to that you can't currently get with a foreign navigation system?
So the biggest, as Wing Commander Sudhakaran has been saying, the biggest, most important point for us would be increased accuracy.
Yes.
Current systems, allows the GPS signal to be degraded at the whim and fancy of, the provider currently, right, which is the US. Having an Indian navigation system would allow us to maintain accurate positioning for our drones throughout any conflict or any kind of incident that takes place. So having positional accuracy independent of any foreign involvement would probably be the most important point for us.
Absolutely. And when we talk about and when we talk about accuracy, sir, how many meters are we talking about? Because, like I said, this is something that I've noticed. When the buck stops at around, it says 14 meters. Your position is about 14 meters. 14 meters of accuracy. When we talk in terms of civilian use, how will this be a game changer?
So in terms of civilian use, the biggest game changer is combining Navic along with terrestrial navigation systems, for example, cell tower based navigation, ground stations. So it increases civilian navigations where you have, for example, self-driving cars. Right. Or you have, drone highways in the sky, right? Dedicated drone corridors. So having this enhanced navigation capability with Navic and terrestrial navigation systems combined would be a game changer for us, because it would actually allow us to provide commercial logistic solutions in an effective and efficient manner.
Absolutely. And of course, this conversation ought to be much longer. And of course, we will try to have more and more of these conversations given what ISRO is achieving on a daily basis. As we were talking also, Pandis, there comes information that it's possible that Chandrayaan-3 might see its launch in July this year itself. But of course, that's going to be a conversation for another time. We've completely run out of time. We leave it there for now.